For years, Bradley Walsh carried the nation with him. A booming laugh, quick wit, and a warmth that felt indestructible. At 65, he still stood tall in the public eye, a familiar figure whose presence promised comfort and joy. But behind the scenes, something had been shifting, quietly, painfully. And now, at last, Bradley had broken his silence. The words, "it's over," didn't land with drama or spectacle. They arrived softly, weighed down by truth. And when they did, fans felt it instantly. A collective ache, a sense that something cherished had reached its end. Bradley didn't speak of endings lightly. For a man known for energy and humor, admitting vulnerability came at a cost. He confessed that the past few years had been harder than anyone realized. The long hours, the constant expectations, the pressure to always be Bradley Walsh had begun to take their toll. Smiles came easier on camera than they did in private. Laughter sometimes masked exhaustion. And through it all, there was one person who had seen it coming: Donna Derby. Those close to Bradley say Donna wasn't just a colleague or confidant. She was the quiet observer, the one who noticed the pauses between jokes, the sighs when the studio lights dimmed, the way his energy dipped after years of giving everything to everyone. She saw the truth long before he was ready to say it out loud. She knew, Bradley admitted, before I did. At 65, reflection comes naturally. Bradley began to question not just what he was doing, but why. Success had given him a life many dream of, yet it had also taken moments he could never get back. Family dinners missed, evenings spent recovering instead of resting, a body that no longer bounced back the way it once did. The tragic update fans feared wasn't about loss of life, it was about the end of a chapter. A version of Bradley who never stopped, who never said no, who believed slowing down meant letting people down. Donna had tried to warn him gently. She spoke of balance, of listening to his body, of choosing peace over pressure. At the time, Bradley brushed it off with humor, the same way he always had. But her words lingered, resurfacing in quiet moments when the laughter faded. Breaking his silence meant acknowledging what he had avoided. He couldn't keep going the same way. "It's over," he said again, not with despair, but with honesty. Over was the endless grind. Over was the idea that he had to prove himself every single day. Over was the belief that stepping back meant failure. For fans, the news hit hard. Social media filled with messages of sadness, gratitude, and concern. Many admitted they felt as though they were losing a part of their daily lives. Bradley had been there for so long, a constant voice of reassurance and joy. The thought of change felt like heartbreak. But there was something else in Bradley's words too, something quieter but stronger: relief. At 65, he spoke of choosing himself for the first time without guilt, of wanting mornings without alarms, conversations without scripts, laughter that didn't have to perform. He spoke of rediscovering who he was when the cameras were off and finding peace in that person. Donna's truth had finally become his own. She had known that the strongest thing he could do wasn't push through, it was let go. And now, standing on the other side of that decision, Bradley seemed lighter. Still emotional, still reflective, but no longer trapped by expectations that no longer served him. This wasn't the end fans feared. It was a farewell to an era. Bittersweet, yes, but necessary. Bradley Walsh didn't disappear, he evolved. And sometimes the most tragic updates aren't about what we lose, but about what we finally have the courage to leave behind.